The Macbeth text is one that falls into the category of those that only have the one text. It was only printed in the folio. And with Macbeth, that's a real shame, because there are things in the play that would be really nice to have another text to go by. But on the other hand, it makes it kind of easy for the editor, because you don't have to worry about which one to use. You use the one that's in the folio. This particular text, there are certain passages in it and one whole scene that many scholars feel and have felt almost from the beginning were not written by Shakespeare. And that's an unusual problem for somebody editing a Shakespeare play. The reason that this has some credence is that there's one scene and then parts of another scene where Hecate, the kind of chief witch, comes in. The versification, the style feels very different in those scenes. The kind of image of the witches that you get in those scenes are different from what you get in the rest of the play. And there is a reference to a song that is to be sung. And we know that that particular song was not written or published until a long time after Macbeth was written. It's from a play by Thomas Middleton, a contemporary of Shakespeare's. And so many scholars have believed for a few centuries that Middleton wrote that one scene, the Hecate scene, and the parts of Act 4, Scene 1 that in which Hecate appears. Now, so as an editor, we quickly decided that, you know, it's not proved that Middleton wrote this. It is what came out in the first folio. So we were going to print it, but we would put a note to our readers that there was some doubt about who had actually written these particular passages. And what's fascinating about it, when we edited the play for publication in 1992, everyone was agreed that these passages were written by someone else and probably by Middleton. But now, just in this past year, in 2009, 2010, it's become a hot topic again. And there are major scholars in England who are debating in the Times Literary Supplement about whether this was all written by Shakespeare or whether it was in fact written by somebody else. So these battles, you know, have not gone away, and we come up with new ways of measuring things, statistics, stylistics, that kind of stuff. So that gives fuel to people who want to argue for one side or the other. And the other thing that was interesting in Macbeth is that in speech prefixes, there are two sets of characters that the word that the folio uses to introduce the speeches of these characters are problematic. One of them is witch. In the dialogue of the play, when these, quote, witches identify themselves, they call themselves weird sisters. And when people refer to them in the play, they are weird sisters. But the speech prefixes are witches. And that's a complication, you know. Witch has a kind of connotation for people then and now that, you know, it comes with its own set of assumptions about what these creatures are. And so, you know, we just had to take note of that. And we used the speech prefix witch because that's what's in the folio, and what else, you know, what else were we going to do? But it was something that we noticed.